Police in South Australia have carried out another major round of arrests under Operation Ironside, the ongoing investigation that used the encrypted ONOM app to monitor communication between individuals involved in organised criminal activity. In a coordinated operation across metropolitan Adelaide and several regional areas, hundreds of officers from South Australia Police Crime Service, Metropolitan Operations Service, State Operations Service, Security, and Emergency Management Service, and the Operations Support Service executed search warrants. These actions took place from 5 a.m. on October 29, with officers targeting 23 different properties as part of the planned enforcement activity. As a result of this operation, police arrested and charged 55 individuals who are alleged to be involved in serious and organized crime. This latest phase has been informally referred to as Ironside 3.0, indicating that it represents the third major operational push under the Ironside banner. In addition to these arrests, police also took 6 individuals already held in correctional services facilities into custody for further processing, transferring them to the city watchhouse. The 55 individuals arrested are now facing a total of 813 charges. These include allegations of money laundering, drug trafficking, and drug manufacturing. All appeared in Adelaide Magistrates Court and were refused bail. Police have also restrained assets valued at more than $25 million. This includes 23 properties, 70 vehicles, including 2 Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and multiple bank accounts holding approximately $600,000. In addition, police seized around $142,000 in cash during the operation. This round of arrests marks the third phase of Operation Ironside. The operation is a joint effort between the Australian Federal Police and state law enforcement agencies, using intelligence gathered from the encrypted ONOM devices that were in use among members of criminal syndicates. Further investigations remain ongoing. Deputy Police Commissioner Linda Williams said she had never seen this many arrests happen in a single day during her time with the police. She noted that the scale of this coordinated operation, both in personnel and resources, was significant, and that it represented a substantial disruption to organized criminal activity in South Australia. According to Williams, bringing together close to 300 officers across multiple policing units required months of planning, review of intelligence, and coordination between state and federal agencies. She described the outcome as a major hit to organized crime groups operating in the state and said the arrests reflect ongoing work rather than a single event. Many of the charges relate to drug trafficking, drug manufacturing, and money laundering. Among those arrested were members and associates of the Comanchero Motorcycle Club, along with individuals linked to various other bikie and organized crime groups. The encrypted ONOM app had been circulating among criminal networks since 2018. Unbeknown to the users, law enforcement agencies were able to capture and read messages sent through the platform. Detectives reviewed more than 2 million messages before the app was shut down in 2021 when the first round of arrests occurred. The intelligence obtained continues to support ongoing investigations. Police expect further arrests to follow, but likely at a slower pace than the large coordinated action carried out in this phase. At the heart of the ONOM sting operation sits the infamous Comanchero MC, a club that built its reputation on silence, brotherhood, and the kind of fear that travels faster than any message. For years, they believed the encrypted app was their private chat room, a place where deals were made, power was traded, and rivals were crushed. What they did not know was that every whispered order, every coded message, every plan for profit or revenge was being watched in real time. While they moved shipments, brokered alliances, and tightened their grip on the underworld, the police were patiently collecting every detail. The Comanchero thought they were operating in shadows, but in reality, they were performing under a spotlight. And when the trap finally closed, it was their network that took the hardest blow. Their members were not simply participants but often acted as key connectors between smaller local crews and larger international suppliers. Police intelligence showed that messages linked to Comanchero figures helped map how different syndicates communicated, moved product, and handled profits. This made the club a focal point for investigators and a major target in every phase of Ironside. The arrests of their members and associates under Ironside 3.0 also highlight how deeply embedded the Comanchero were in the broader criminal economy, and why disrupting their structure was seen as essential to weakening organized crime in Australia. Ironside 3.0 comes after Australia's High Court ruling on October 8, 2025, which allowed messages from the 𝗟𝗏 map to be used as evidence in court. The court rejected an appeal by two Comanchero bikie members from South Australia who said the messages were obtained illegally. These two Comanchero bikies were central to the legal fight that followed the 𝗟𝗏 arrests, but their names could not be released because of suppression orders that protected their identities during the court proceedings. They were named in the court documents as their initials, CD and TB, after being charged under Operation Ironside. Through their solicitors, the duo claimed that the evidence used against them had been collected unlawfully. Their argument was that police had effectively copied messages straight from their phones, which they said breached telecommunications interception laws. If that argument succeeded, the 𝗟𝗏 messages would have been ruled invalid, and thousands of charges laid across Australia could have collapsed. They first challenged the evidence in the South Australian Supreme Court. When they lost there, they took the matter to the High Court, which is the highest legal authority in Australia. Because the question they raised was so important, courts all over the country paused any trials involving 𝗟𝗏 evidence. Prosecutors and judges needed to know whether the messages were legal to use before those trials could move forward. For months, the entire Operation Ironside case load was effectively on hold, waiting for the outcome of this appeal. If the bikies won, hundreds of accused offenders could have walked free. If they lost, the Ironside prosecutions would continue without interruption. Their challenge worked its way through South Australia's courts, with the state leading legal pushback against the 𝗟𝗏 evidence. After the High Court granted special leave to appeal in 2024, the Australian Parliament quickly passed the Confirmation of Application Act. This law clarified that 𝗟𝗏 messages were not intercepted while passing through phone networks, they were duplicated within the app itself, making the surveillance legal under existing warrants. The key point of this law was to explain exactly how the 𝗟𝗏 surveillance worked. It stated that the messages were not intercepted while they were moving through phone networks. Instead, the messages were copied or duplicated inside the 𝗟𝗏 map itself, before they ever reached the network. Because of this, the surveillance was covered by existing search and data warrants that police already had. In simple terms, the law said that police did not secretly break into phone lines. They collected the messages at the source, inside the app. This clarification made the evidence legal and blocked the argument the bikies were relying on. The High Court agreed. The 7 judges at the High Court ruled that the new law was valid and did not interfere with judicial independence. It simply confirmed what the law had always allowed. With the appeal dismissed, both Comanchero bikies pleaded guilty to participating in a criminal organization, one the day before the ruling, the other immediately after. Other charges against them were dropped. Sparta has obtained a copy of this 37-page High Court order, which is linked in the video description and available for anyone to download and read. The decision clears a major legal hurdle for hundreds of ongoing Ironside prosecutions, many in South Australia, where some trials are not scheduled until 2027. State Attorney General 𝗂𝐤𝐿 welcomed the outcome, saying it ensures police and prosecutors can continue their work without uncertainty. Operation Ironside remains one of the most successful law enforcement operations in history. Over 28 million messages were collected, leading to arrests not just in Australia but around the world. Criminals who believed they were communicating in secret were in fact talking directly to police. With the High Court stamp of approval, the 𝗟𝗏 evidence is now rock solid. This now means that the trials can proceed. The message to organized crime is clear: even your safest tools can be turned against you. As the case first began in South Australia, authorities there were the earliest to launch this new round of arrests, and it is believed that other states will soon follow. Those taken into custody include suspected large-scale dealers, bikie-linked individuals, and figures tied to organized crime groups. The charges relate to trafficking major commercial quantities of methamphetamine, cocaine, cannabis, GHB, and other substances, along with money laundering. Many of the people arrested this week have already been publicly identified. The accused come from all corners of the state and from very different walks of life. Among them is 35-year-old father 𝗂𝐨𝐿, who is facing 20 counts of drug trafficking. Investigators allege that while using the Onum platform, he operated under the username 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝗃, a name that now sits in sharp contrast to the seriousness of the charges laid against him. Another accused, 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁, is already serving a sentence for an unrelated matter but has now been drawn into this larger operation. In the case of 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁, his bail application could not even be heard and was pushed to a later date due to the sheer volume of cases needing attention. There is also fly-in fly-out worker 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁, who stands among the group of those brought before the courts. Not all of the accused are men either. Some of the women appearing were originally caught up in the first wave of Ironside arrests back in 2021 and have now returned to court as part of this expanded phase of prosecutions. Sparta has obtained a full list of the defendants who appeared in court, and that document is also included in the description of this video. Reporters and court staff say they have not seen this many defendants processed in a single day for many years, and even with 3 courtrooms operating simultaneously, less than half of the accused have actually appeared before a magistrate so far. The remaining cases will continue to move through the system over the coming days, further adding to an already overloaded schedule. Authorities are now facing the practical problem of simply finding space to house all of these newly charged individuals. What has unfolded is being described as an historic moment for South Australia Police, the culmination of extensive work by law enforcement teams across multiple agencies. Yet despite the scale of today's events, officials have made it clear that the operation is not over. More arrests are expected, and the next phase is already underway, signaling that law enforcement is far from finished in dismantling these criminal networks. If you're looking for more exciting and eye-catching regular bikie and organized crime updates, don't hesitate, smash that subscribe button, spread the word rapidly, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments section, and for the true grid Spartans out there, consider sending a super thanks or buy us a coffee, to show some love. It goes a long way in keeping us motivated and the channel thriving, as most of the videos on this channel are not monetized due to its crime-related content. Stay tuned, stay curious, stay awesome and take care. Wu-Tang.